A good morning to all. Today we are going to discuss about inspection, search, seizure, and arrest. Section 67 to 72. Section 67 deals with power of inspection, search, and seizure. Subsection 1 where the proper officer, not below the rank of Joint Commissioner, has a reason to believe that a taxable person has suppressed any transaction relating to supply of goods or services or both, or stock of goods in hand, or has claimed input tax rate in excess of its entertainment under this act, or has indulged in the contravention of any of the provisions of this act or rules made thereunder to evade the tax under this act, or any person engage in the business of transporting goods, or an owner or an operator of the warehouse or a godown, or any other person is keeping goods which have escaped the payment of tax, or has kept his accounts or goods in such a manner as is likely to cause evasion of tax payable under this act, he may authorize in writing any other officer of the central tax to inspect any places of business of the taxable person, or the persons engaged in the business of transporting goods, or owner or operator of the warehouse or the godown or any other place. Subsection 2 where the proper officer, not below the rank of the Joint Commissioner, either present to an inspection carried out under the subsection 1 or otherwise has reason to believe that any goods liable to confiscation, or any document or books or things which in his opinion shall be useful for or relevant to any proceedings under this act, are secreted in any place, he may authorize in writing any other officer or of the central tax to search and seize, or may himself search and seize such goods, documents, or books or things, provided that where it is not practicable to seize any such goods, the proper officer or any officer authorized by him may serve on the owner or the custodian of the goods an amount that he shall not remove, part with, or otherwise deal with the goods except with the previous permission of the such officer, provided further that the documents or books or things so seized shall be retained by such officer only for so long as he may be necessary for the examination and for any inquiry or proceedings under this act. Subsection 3 the documents, books, or things referred to in the subsection 2, or any other documents, books, or things produced by the taxable person or any other person which have not been relied upon for the issue of notice under this act, or the rules made thereunder, shall be returned to such person within a period not exceeding 30 days of the issue of the said notice. Subsection 4 the officer authorized under the subsection 2 shall have the powers to seal or break open the door of any premises, or to break open any almirah, electronic device, box, receptacles, or in such in any goods, accounts, re- register, or documents of the person are suspected to be concealed, where the access to such premises, almirah, electronic device, box, or receptacles is denied. Subsection 5 the person from whose custody any documents are seized under the subsection 2 shall be entitled to make copies thereof, or take extract therefrom in the presence of the authorized officer at such place and time as the such officer may indicate in this behalf, except where making such documents or taking such extract may, in the opinion of the proper officer, prejudicially affects the investigation. Subsection 6. The goods so seized under subsection 2 shall be released on the provisional basis upon the execution of bond and furnishing of security in such manner and of such quantum respectively as may be prescribed, or on payment of applicable tax, interest and penalty payable as the case may be. Subsection 7. Where any goods or are seized under the subsection 2 and no notice in respect thereof is given within 6 months of the seizure of the goods shall be returned to the person from whose possession they were seized, provided that the person period of 6 months may on the sufficient cause being shown be extended by the proper officer for the further period not exceeding 6 months. Subsection 8. The government may, having regard to the perishable or hazardous uh, nature of any goods, depreciation in the value of the goods with the passage of time, constraint of the storage space for the goods, or any other relevant consideration by the notification specify the goods or class of goods which shall as soon as may be after its seizure under the subsection 2 be disposed of by the proper officer in such manner as may be prescribed. Subsection 9. Where any goods being the goods specified under subsection 8 have been seized by the proper officer or officer authorized by him under the subsection 2, he shall prepare an inventory of such goods in such manner as may be prescribed. Subsection 10. The provisions of the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973 relating to the seizure and search shall, for far as may be so far as may be applied to the search and seizure under this section, subject to the modification under subsection 5 of the section 165 of the said code, shall have the effect as if for the word magistrate wherever it occurs the word commissioner was substituted. Subsection 11. Where the proper officer has a reason to believe that any person has evaded or is attempting to evade the payment of any tax, he may, for the reasons that to be recorded in writing, seize the accounts, register, or documents of the such person produced before him, and shall grant a receipt for the same, and shall retain the same for such long as may be necessary in connection with any proceedings under this Act or the rules made thereunder for the prosecution. Subsection 12. The Commissioner or the officer authorized by him may cause the purchase of any goods or services or both by any person authorized by him from the business premises of any taxable person to check the issue of tax invoice or bill of supply by such taxable person, and on return of the goods so purchased by such officer, such taxable person or any person in charge of the business premises shall refund the amount so paid towards the goods after cancelling any tax invoice or bill of supply issued earlier. The section 68. Inspection of goods in the movement. Subsection 1. The government may require the person in charge of the conveyance carrying any consignment of goods of value exceeding such amount as may be specified to carry with him such documents and such device as may be prescribed. Subsection 2. The details of documents required to be carried under the subsection 1 shall be validated in such manner as may be prescribed. Subsection 3. Where any conveyance referred to in the subsection 1 is intercepted by the proper officer at any place, he may require the person in charge of the said conveyance to produce the documents prescribed under the said subsection and devise for the verification, and the said person shall be liable to produce the documents and devise and also allows inspection of the goods. Powers of Arrest, Section 69, Subsection 1, where the Commissioner has a reason to believe that a person has committed any offense specified in the Class A or Class B or Class C or Class D of the subsection 1 of the Section 132, which is punishable under the Class 1 or Class 2 or of the subsection 1 for the or the subsection 2 of the said act, he may by order authorize any officer of the central tax to arrest such person. Subsection 2, where the proper person is arrested under subsection 1 for an offense specified under the subsection 5 of the section 132, the officer authorized to arrest the person shall inform such person of the grounds of arrest and produce before him a magistrate within 24 hours. Subsection 3. Subject to the provisions of the Code of Criminal Procedure 1973, where a person is arrested under subsection 1 for any offense specified under the subsection 4 of the section 132, he shall be admitted to bail or in default of the bail forward head to the custody of the magistrate. In the case of the non-congeable and bailable offense, the deputy commissioner or the assistant commissioner shall, for the purpose of releasing an arrested person on the bail or otherwise, have the same powers and be subject to the same provisions as an officer in charge of the police station. Section 70. The power to summons a person to give evidence and produce documents. Subsection 1. The proper officer under this Act shall have the powers to summon any person whose attendance he considers necessary either to give evidence or to produce a document or any other thing in any inquiry in the same manner as provided in the case of the civil court under the provisions of the Code of Civil Procedure 1908, subsection 2, where every such person referred to in the subsection 1 shall be deemed to be a judicial proceedings within the meaning of the section 183 and the section 228 of the Indian Penal Code. Section 71 Access to business premises. Subsection 1. Any officer under this Act authorized by the proper officer not below the rank of the Joint Commissioner shall have the access to any place of business of the registered person to inspect books of accounts, documents, computers, computer programs, computer software, whether installed in the computer or otherwise, and such other things as may be required and which may be available at such place for the purpose of carrying out any audit, scrutiny, verification, and checks as may be necessary to safeguard the interest of revenue. Subsection 2. Every person in charge of the place referred to in the subsection 1 shall, on the demand, make available to the officer authorized under the subsection 1 or the audit party deputed by the proper officer or the cost accountant or the chartered accountant nominated under section 66 the such records as prepared or maintained by the registered person and declared to the proper officer in such manner as may be prescribed. The trial balance or its equivalent statement of annual financial accounts duly audited wherever required, cost audit report, if any, under Section 148 of the Companies Act 2013, the income tax audit report, if any, under the Section 44AB of the Income Tax Act 1961, and any other relevant record for the scrutiny by the officer or the audit party or the chartered accountant or the cost accountant within a period not exceeding 15 working days from the day when the such demand is made, or such further period as may be allowed by the said office or audit party or chartered accountant or the cost accountant. Demand and recovery, section 73 to 84. Determination of tax not paid or short paid or anomalously refunded or input tax credit wrongly availed or utilized for any reason other than fraud or any willful statement or suppression of the fact. Section 74. Determination of the tax not paid or short paid or anomalously refunded or input tax credit wrongly availed or utilized by the person of fraud, reason of fraud, or any willful misstatement or suppression of the facts. Section 75. General provisions relating to determination of tax. Section 76. Tax collected but not deposit paid to the government. Section 77. The tax wrongfully collected and paid to the central government or the state government. Section 78. Initiation of recovery proceedings. Section 79. Recovery of tax. Section 80. Payment of tax and other amount in the installment. Section 81. Transfer of property to be void in certain cases. Section 82. Tax to be first charged on the property. Section 87, 83. Provisional attachment to protect revenue in certain cases. Section 84. Continuation and validation of the certain recovery proceedings. Continuation and validation of the certain recovery proceedings. Section liability to pay certain in certain cases. Section 85 to 94. Section 85. Liability in certain case or in case of transfer of business. Section 86. Liability of agent and principal. Section 87. Liability in case of amalgamation or merger of companies. Section 88. Liability in the case of a company liquidation. Section 789. Liability of directors of the private company. Section 90. Liability of the partners of the firm to pay tax. Section 91. The liability of the gardener, trustee, etc. Section 92. Liability to court of wards. Section 93. Special provisions regarding liability to pay tax, interest, or penalty in certain cases. Section 94. Liability in other cases. Advance ruling, section 95 to 106. Definition, section 95. Definition, section 96. Authority for advance ruling, section 97. Application for advance ruling, section 98. Procedure on receipt of application, section 99. Appellant to authority for advance ruling, section 100. Appeal to the appellant authority, section 101. Orders of appellant authority, section 102. Rectification of advance ruling, section 103. Applicability of advance ruling, section 104. Advance ruling to be void in certain cases. Section 105. The powers of authority and appellate authority, section 106. The powers procedures of the authority and appellate authority. Thank you very much for today.